Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. So today's video is just going to be a list of books that I would be reading right now and I really want to read and want to get to if I wasn't in a reading slump, which I am. I'm still working on getting out of it. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. So first up we have The Sunken and The Hanged Man by Katie Edwards. Now, The Sunken is a short ebook that's like a 1.5 novella between The Last Sun and The Hanged Man, which is the second book in the tarot sequence. And I loved the first book, it was so good. And I'm currently not reading this one right now because I haven't read that one right now. And the slump is hitting me and I'm like, I really want to read this. I'm excited to read it, but I'm just not getting around to it. And it's really frustrating because this book, the first book in the series, was so good and I'm so into it. And like the banter between the different characters, the magical world that's been created, it's like an urban fantasy with like Atlantis, and the Atlanteans are based on like tarot cards, which is just really interesting. The main character is he's in the Sun House, I think. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but very good, very well done, and I really like the relationships being built up in here, and I really want like the cuteness of the relationship that is sort of developing between some people. I'm like, this is so cute, I need it. So I'd be reading these, but I'm not right now, so they're on the list. Then we have The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. Now, can you guess why I'm not reading this book right now? Can you guess? Can you guess? Can you guess? It's not like it's like 700 pages long or something like that, but like, yes. So I had this on my goals list for like my summer goals, and I just feel like I'm not going to get around to it because it's so huge and it's high fantasy, and I feel like I have to be in a really specific mood to read that. But like, I want to read it because it's on the list and it's on my 2020 TBR and I really want to get to it. And I really liked Mistborn, and I'm like, the second one should be really good, but have I read it? No. And am I going to get around to it? I don't know. I'm just sort of sat here going, this is one that it would be great if I could read this, but just haven't. Just haven't. So next up we have Doctor Sleep by Stephen King. Now, I read The Shining, I think very early last year, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll get the sequel eventually. And then I went to see the film of Doctor Sleep and I really enjoyed it. There was something really good about it, and I was like, oh, I'll pick up the book. So I picked up the book and then never read it. I just didn't. And I'm like, I really want to read more horror. It's one of my projects for this year, and I'm like, yeah, just sit down and read it. Like, haven't. I keep looking at it. I think as well because it's such a bright coloured cover. When I see its spine on my shelves, I'm like, yeah, you should read that. And then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna though. So I'd really like to be in the mood to read this one. It's one of the ones that I would like to read before the end of the year, and I would like to prioritise, but I'm not able to do that right now. So it's staying on this list of, oh, I should be reading this, but I'm not. Then we have The Toll by Neil Shusterman. So this is the third and final book in the Scythe trilogy. It's over 600 pages, so it's quite a chunk. And also, with it being the third book in the series, and me having read Thunderhead, I don't even know if it was last year or the year before now, it's been such a long time. I feel like I need to reread Scythe and Thunderhead as well before I get to this one, because I don't want to like forgotten what happened. I mean, I remember what happened at the end of Thunderhead because that had me shook, but yeah, I'm a bit, I want to read it, I want to finish this series, but I know that I have to reread the other ones to get to this series, and I'm a little bit sad about that, and I keep putting it off because I'm like, oh, because to read this book means that I have to read 2 other books as well, and that's not good for my slumpy brain. So just sadness all around. And then the last book that I'm going to put on this list is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I did end up really enjoying this book. I didn't particularly love the first half of the book, but the second half I was like, yes, this book, can we have more of this? And I just know that I'm really going to like Akamath. It's like Hades Persephone-esque, and I'm an absolute sucker for anything like that. Now, the reason that I'm putting this one off and not just sitting there and reading it is because I feel like I know I enjoyed this one, and I really had an expectation about reading Akamath, and I'm worried that because I'm slumpy, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I would. So while I like have a drive where I really want to read I want to reread this book and go on to the second and third book in the series. I'm like, no, you don't. Not right now. Don't read that right now. That could be very bad if you read that right now, because what if you don't like it and then that was a sadness for you? I don't know. These are silly reasons why I'm not picking these books up, but there's something in my mind that's like, don't read these right now. Just don't. Actually, there's something in my mind that's like, don't read anything right now. But I'm trying with other books that I can point at TBRs. Those are the ones that I really want to read, and I think perhaps I do have an expectation that I'm going to enjoy them all, and I want to enjoy them all, and that's why I don't want to read them right now, just in case my mood affects how I feel about them. This was a long-winded video just to say that, really. Those are the books on my list. Are there any books that you guys put off because you're in a reading slump and you're like, oh wait, this is not the right time for me to read this book, so I won't read it, and then you just put it off for ages? Like, it can't be just me, can it? Side note, while I've been slumping, I have started a book talk account, so if you're on TikTok, follow me at BrewsandReviews. I do post bookish content. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!